opportunities for the state. One of the things civil society expressions, and that would be activism, can tell the state how civilians are understanding the space in which they live in, can tell the state how they understand the services provided from a top-down perspective. Civil society also presents an opportunity to make a more resilient security model, and nuanced and well balanced. Whilst I am totally in favor of freedom of expression, the state needs to be able to assess properly when activism is becoming a threat to the state, and it really is, through violence or the encouragement of violence, and that expressions of activism via civil society there's an opportunity between the state and civilians to engage in what that means. It also builds a more resilient security apparatus. It has the opportunity to, if the state allows it, because activism can be a critique of the state, and how the state receives that critique can make you a better security apparatus. Do you hear the complaints, or do you just want to stop the complaining? Civil society presents the state with the opportunity to understand how civilians view not just the country, space, city, town they live in, and how they're experiencing that, but how their citizens, fellow citizens, are engaging with the world. It also makes for it has a potential, civil society expressions have the potential for making a better security apparatus, and that the security apparatus, I think, it is appropriate to be curious through lawful means of external forces influencing activism. Some of that is normal, and some of that is very healthy. Movements that move across the world and then manifest themselves through nuance in a particular way in your country or culture. For instance, Black Lives Matters. It emerged out of the U.S. It now has a presence in places like the UK, the United Kingdom, as well as Canada. But then the state has to equally look at when foreign actors come into the state, to the country, and via civil society to do harm, to exacerbate existing tensions. But then again, some of those tensions that civil society will give voice to, highlighting those tensions gives the state as well as civilians the opportunity to address them. So I think the potential for civil society to inform the state by saying, we view this as a problem. It gives the state the opportunity to engage and to ascertain, is it a communication issue? Is this something we need to address? In terms of how the activism unfolds, and it gives the state the ability and the opportunity to become more resilient, to withstand the criticism and to learn from the criticism. It also gives, I think it should give civilians the opportunity to learn effective ways to engage with the state. Should we find more opportunities to engage with the state? I think civil society's activism overwhelmingly is an attempt to engage with the state. It can be difficult and it can be challenging, particularly as I've seen activism manifest itself here in the UK. It can come with a great deal of angst and frustration, and that can give literally voice to not always language that is easy to be on the receiving end of, but nevertheless is an opportunity for the state to be resilient and to hear and see what the message is. It also gives civil society an opportunity to learn, are there more effective ways to deal with the state. So I'm continually posting where and when I see civil society engaging with the state via its activism, how civil society engages with other citizens, what that looks like, what that means. This is Debra V. Wilson. It is Monday, the 3rd of December, 2018. The time is 1800 hours and 32 minutes. That's GMT. And as ever, I'm seeking to understand how civil society experiences and responds to national security models and policing models, with my focus being Canada, Israel, and the UK.